It was an eventful weekend as always. Corey Kluber, Alex Kirilloff, a prospect is being called up, and more. Let's talk about it next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Monday, May 3rd. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And let's get things started with Alex Kirilloff. Scott, who is on a 6-game hitting streak. He is red hot, but somehow still just 73% rostered on CBS.
Yeah, well, it's come so suddenly here, all this production. 4 home runs in his last 3 games. He had a grand slam on Sunday. Last 2 of those games, 3 strikeouts in each, so you don't love to see that, but we know this guy has a ton of hitting talent. We know the upside is very high, and he's beginning to show it finally. It just so happens the Twins have the best hitter matchups this upcoming week, in my estimation, and they're facing nothing but righties. Kirilloff, a left-handed hitter. I think you need to get him in your lineup if at all possible.
Even in those shallower leagues, 10-team leagues, I think you should get Alex Kirilloff on your team. Maybe not in your lineup in that shallow of a format, but I do really like what I've seen from him so far, and a lot of upside with Alex Kirilloff. Corey Kluber, we mentioned the name, 8 shutout on Sunday against the Detroit Tigers with 10 strikeouts, 20 swinging strikes on 103 pitches. Scott, is Corey Kluber back?
I think so. This was certainly a retro Kluber start. 8 shutout, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, all those whiffs you mentioned. And really, he looked good in his previous start, too, against the Orioles. He had 17 swinging strikes in that one. And that was when we saw the fastball velocity bump up, not all the way to where it was in 2018 before the injury problems, but the highest it's been this year. And we saw an increase in effectiveness. The secondary stuff still really good, still a lot of movement. His changeup was responsible for 13 of the 20 whiffs in this one. The control, the command, it all seems to be back. Every way we needed to see Kluber improve, he has over these past 2 starts. Some people might discount it because it was Orioles-Tigers, but especially considering you got these kind of results in back-to-back starts. I mean, it's baseball. Bad teams perform well against good pitchers all the time. Kluber shut him down, and I think you should be excited about that if you've had him stashed all this time.
He's probably not available on your waiver wire. He's 88% rostered on CBS. If he is available, go out and get him. But if you have him on your team already, you should feel really, really good about Corey Kluber right now. Mentioned there is a top prospect being called up. Daniel Lynch, former first-round pick back in 2018. Top pitching prospect in the Royals organization. One of them. They have quite a few. He's making his debut on Monday. He is 14% rostered on CBS. Scott, is Daniel Lynch a must-add?
I think he's pretty close to it. The Royals took 4 pitchers in the first round a couple years ago. Brady Singer's one of them. He already has a spot. We saw Chris Bubich last year. Of the 4, I think Daniel Lynch is the most talented. Baseball America had him as a top 25 prospect overall coming into the year. He's a left-hander who can fire it in at 97 miles per hour, which is good, obviously. And show some strikeout potential this spring. The fact that they bumped Jake Junis from the rotation to clear a spot for this guy shows that they expect him to stick around. So this isn't just a one-and-done sort of deal. You got to like the upside.
Last one I've got for you here, Scott. Waiver wire hitters. If you just want to pick someone up, stash him for some upside between Nico Hoerner, who has multiple hits in 3 of his last 4 games, and Willie Calhoun, who's on a 9-game hitting streak. Both are rostered in less than 45% of CBS leagues. Which one do you like more between Hoerner and Willie Calhoun?
Well, I like them both a lot. I was putting in pickups for them even in shallower leagues, even the points leagues, because they're both good at limiting strikeouts. But if you're forcing me to pick one, I go Hoerner because of the superior eligibility, second base and shortstop. Calhoun, at least in CBS leagues, is DH only currently, should pick up outfield eligibility at some point. But we saw a lot of good signs from Hoerner this spring, more power production. Is just a line drive machine. He's already up to 3 stolen bases, the little bit he's played, so he's contributing that as well. Willie Calhoun, more of a power hitter, kind of one-dimensional in that way, but I'm also excited about him.
Let's wrap up with some news and notes from the weekend. Dustin May was placed on the IL with right arm soreness, and he felt a shooting sensation down his arm after delivering a pitch On Saturday, Luis Robert is headed to the IL with a right hip flexor strain. He had to be carried off the field, so I would expect him to be out more than the minimum 10 days. Travis d'Arnaud tore a ligament in his left thumb and was placed on the 60-day IL. William Contreras, brother of the Cubs' Wilson Contreras, was in the Braves lineup and batting 8th on Sunday. He's got a little bit of pop, so if you need a catcher in a 2-catcher league, William Contreras is the name there. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.